We're in Nehemiah chapter 5 today. And yet again, Nehemiah has to solve another problem as he is governing the people. My commentary says it best, so I'm just going to read straight from it. There are three groups negatively affected by these hardships. There's been hardships in the land that they are trying to rebuild the walls around. Those who apparently owned no land, those who owned some land but were being forced to mortgage it, and those who did not have any means to pay taxes. All three groups were forced to go into debt to survive, thus putting their future in jeopardy, as Governor Nehemiah needed to strengthen his community of returned Jewish exiles by acting on behalf of the impoverished among them. Basically, people were charging hefty interest, and that is against God's law in Leviticus. And so people brought these concerns to Nehemiah. Verse 6 says, I became extremely angry when I heard their outcry and these complaints. So I have to say that he sought counsel. This verse 7. My CSB says, seriously considering. The ESV says, sought counsel among myself. This is an example of righteous anger, being angry at injustice, being angry at what God would be angry at, but also not flying off the handle and like flipping out on everybody. He responds to these people that are charging an extreme amount of interest. What you are doing isn't right. Shouldn't you walk in the fear of our God and not invite the reproach of our foreign enemies? The key to righteous living is to walk in the fear of the Lord. And so that's what Nehemiah says to these people. And they responded, we will return these things and require nothing more from them. We will do as you say. Another issue solved by Nehemiah. And the chapter ends with Nehemiah talking about how he's a good governor in the sense of he could take advantage. He could heavily burden the people. He could take from them food and wine as taxes, and he doesn't. And it says in verse 15, because of the fear of God, I didn't do this. Proverbs 16:6 says, one turns from evil by the fear of the Lord. Verse 16 says, instead, I devoted myself to the construction of this wall, and all my subordinates were gathered there for the work. We didn't buy any land. And that is how chapter 5 ends.